I try so hard to be so detail oriented, and yet I can't. I'm done.
So my idea is to get everything sent to the chrome plater. They're gonna polish, clean polish and plate everything. So when I get it back, it's ready to put in use as if it were brand new.
Long story short, I dropped my parts off to a chrome plater on July 2nd, 2024. And on May 2nd, 2025, I was told that they were sort of ready. 9 months to the day. I didn't pay the chrome plater a single dime for what you're about to see, but it's going to cost me a lot. The title of the video is not clickbait. I have no script for this video. I have no plans. This is the second or third attempt at shooting this, but my parts are ruined. Some of them might be able to be salvaged. None of the original parts to the timpani that were replated are going to be salvageable. And to top that off, they lost a part. So when I dropped the parts off at the plater, I made a spreadsheet and emailed it to them so they knew what was what. Each part had a rough description, and if I knew what the alloy of the metal was, I told them the finish I wanted, and some vital information was ignored, which ruined at least one part, and then some common practices were just ignored, which ruined 18 parts at least. I learned some stuff, it's just the cost of this particular education is not sustainable. This project, I don't know if it's going to be on hold for a while I do other work. I don't know if it'll just be one of those background things that I just get to when I can, but the momentum on this took a pause last summer in July when I dropped the parts off at the plater. I knew full well it would take them a while, and I had arm surgery and sinus surgery, and I've traveled since. I've been busy and it's been okay, so I haven't really been pestering them, but I started pestering the plater maybe at month 6. Month 7 I sent an email along the lines of, hey, I'm worried, are my parts still existent? One misunderstanding led to another. Apparently this wasn't on the books at the plater officially. It was an after hours project for one particular guy who's apparently their metal polisher, which that's what I was expecting to pay for. I was expecting somewhere between $800 and $1,600. Metal be polished, plated, polished. I mean, like everything just be ready to install on a brand new drum. Some of them, I mean, some of the parts are okay, but none of them are great. But what bothers me about this particular plating job is there's rust in the holes. I mean, and there is a way to make sure that doesn't happen. And there's rust on the ends. They're not polished. The ends should have been polished just like the rest of the bar. So in terms of salvageable parts, I mean, the pedal rods are okay. I could use them. It's just not, that's not what I want to do. I don't want to do okay work. And by the way, welcome to the new shop. I've been here since over a year ago and finally comfortable enough to shoot some video here, I guess. This should be 7/16. 7/16 is 0.4375. Here I get 0.4255, 0.421. I mean, it's okay. Thread 0.391, 0.387, 397. So it's very inconsistent. It's very rough. I mean, it feels like sandpaper. Just completely unusable. And then because this is a steel, and then this part up here is apparently made of brass, it didn't turn out evenly. In fact, this one has plating that's just straight up non-existent. So what I thought I was paying for was somebody's expertise to go, hey, you need to do this to the part before I can do anything with it. Or, hey, I'll take care of it, I'll get it all looking good. That's what I was expecting. That's money that I would have felt would have been well spent. In my case, it feels like as he told me, he did this after hours, and he's not really a professional plater. He's a professional polisher. I can see evidence for sure to one of those aspects. This particular rod feels very gritty. This part up here turned out nice. It's actually nearly acceptable. 0.412, 410, 432. So for some reason this particular tension rod did better. So you can see the top portion here, I think is a brass or a bronze. There's a pin that holds it into this part of the rod. So I could technically reuse these and just remake this part. I might do that, but quite frankly I shouldn't have to. Then that's the finish on a part that they figured was acceptable. And then you have this particular rod. We'll find one to compare it to. Where I don't think it made it to the chrome plater at all. So the one on this side looks nickel plated, the one on this side looks chrome plated. Maybe that color difference shows up, maybe it doesn't, I don't know. The T keys aren't even worth mentioning. Okay, they are, whatever. The plating, it looks like they plated them, they didn't polish a thing. And I learned a lot that I have to do differently for the next time. So some of this is my fault. I'm willing to accept that. I sent these last minute because I had them and I wanted to get them plated. But there is a way to keep that from happening. Why they didn't do it, I don't know. Happened here on the tilter rods as well. But also on these, the threads are just, they're round. I don't know what they did. These were steel. Like, there was no plating on these. I'm going to have to remake these. Those are trash. This is a part I made. This is a part that was replated. The bigger one is the one that I made. So in the deplating process, they just apparently did something wrong. I don't know, but like those threads are gritty. They're nasty. They're rusted. The plating isn't even. It's just unacceptable. And then we have the bronze kick plates. These I spent a lot of time repairing. I think I could polish these up and they'd be okay, but the problem with polishing nickel is easy to polish off. They didn't plate these with chrome. They got them to nickel and they stopped. My main thing is at least to have both of these back. These parts, the guides for the tension rod, or sorry, the master screw, I don't know if I'm going to reuse them because I have to make new master screws. And these were each fit to the master screws that were there. The tuning gauge indicators, there's rust on the end of this one. They didn't do any polishing work on these. They just plated them. I'll probably remake these out of stainless and polish them to a mirror finish. In fact, that's what I'm probably going to remake everything out of now, because I don't know that I ever want to deal with a plater again at this point. I have to though. There's parts that have to be made from steel that need some sort of protection, and I'm not going to go with just a zinc plated bolt like you would buy at the Home Depot. Speaking of, these were zinc plated. I had them polished and chrome plated. I don't think they did either of those. I quite frankly don't know if they did anything to that. Bought a bunch of large nuts, had them stripped, polished, and plated. They skipped at least that middle part. There's some stainless parts in here for the gauge rails. I don't know if maybe they manually polish these a little bit, but there's actual like sharp parts on it that shouldn't be sharp. It's the kind of thing that would go away with polishing. And then the biggest problem that I'm having is I sent 16 hoop ears and I got 15 back. The rattling you hear in the background is the door and the wind. I'm not going to particularly do much editing on this. This has sucked any wind out of the sails I had in this project. I was ready to strip bowls and start getting the final coats of paint on the frames, and at this point I just need to put it aside and step away from it for a while. Frustrating doesn't even cover the feelings that I have right now. On the directions for the hoops, I said do not polish them, just clean and plate. Like I liked the finish on them. Chrome plating is more or less a clear coat. It's going to look the same. If anything, it's going to exaggerate any nicks or marks you have in your metal, so I had a brushed finish. Well, when I picked up the hoops, the guy was like, I spent a lot of time working those on the buffing wheel. I had them flat. I had them round and flat, and now one is flat and the other is not. You hear this in the background. That's the high part on the plate that's smacking because it's no longer flat. That's to the 28. The 25 hoop is still acceptable. The finish on them is not. I'm gonna have to paint them or get them stripped and redone, and I don't even want to make this video. Posting negative stuff just does nothing. I'm not posting this to get sympathy. I don't need sympathy. I need advice. And if you have some advice for how to get metal plated correctly, let me know in the comments. I thought about purchasing my own setup to do near chrome or copy chrome. But that's just one more thing. I don't want to be doing everything. I want to be doing what I'm good at. And apparently I'm going to get really good at making master screws and tension rods here in a bit. I can't do this anymore.